This right here gonna be a cakewalk.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I am fresh off of a 7-hour stream. I had so much fun playing Marizu, and I am definitely going to continue playing her. I had more fun playing Marizu than I did with Fakamam and than I did with Armor King. You know, well, if you've been watching streams, right, I really want to continue playing Fakamam and really learn that character. Then Armor King was really cool, and I was like, man, I want to play Armor King. This guy's awesome, right? I feel like when I play Armor King, I just harness the most toxic energy possible and I start key charging everyone. It's like therapy playing Armor King, getting rid of some of that emotional trauma. But then Marizu came out, and now I'm like, bro, she's the real deal. Now, I don't know how powerful people were saying she's going to be. I know her down 3. I saw people talking about the range and the tracking on Twitter, right? And I see some people talking about evasion and whatnot, but I don't know what else from her is going to, walk out of this day, because this is the first day. The server still isn't up. I don't know what people are going to be talking about that's super broken on day 2 when the servers go up. I did a couple of share play matches on PlayStation. For those of you who have PlayStation, you know what that is. She doesn't seem really cheap. She doesn't seem really broken. She seems like a character that you have to work hard to like make work. She feels like she can fall into these very predictable traps. You can get caught like pressing buttons. You could get floated out of your pole stance. People can just straight up challenge you. Like, so far, I haven't found a way to go into it without them being able to challenge me and knock me off. There has to be at least 1 or 2, but I haven't found it just yet. So every single time I was going into the pole, I was getting knocked off of it. The person was confident enough to hit me off of it. And by the way, this is with share play lag. So imagine what a stable connection and more experience what people are going to be doing. So I feel like the pole isn't as OP as everyone was assuming it was going to be. And I kind of was breathing a sigh of relief already when we seen gameplay and we seen that she wasn't using it as a weapon. Now there is times, I think it's a back 444, where she can jump off of it. Like she does kick and then she kind of like jumps on the sword and then flies off of it, but she's not actually swinging the sword like Anna does her rocket, and that's a big sigh of relief for me. She only uses it to like enhance her kicks and like to move around a little bit. And on the move around part of it, I really love that. I know a lot of people were saying that the noises she makes is despicable, it's terrible. I know a lot of people were saying her jumping around doesn't look Tekken at all. But something that I was like experiencing with this character is that when I am doing all of that stuff, it feels so much like Tekken. But also keep in mind, I'm a Yoshi main. I've been playing with stances since like my first introduction to Tekken. Stances is more Tekken to me than like a because that's how much I've been like involved with Yoshimitsu stances and how like natural they are to me, right? So going from Yoshimitsu to Marizu, she feels very similar. One, you got to talk about Yoshimitsu's 3-1, and then Marizu's 3-2, and then Yoshimitsu's 3-2-1+2, and Marizu's 3-2-1-2. Both of those scenarios, all 4 of those, are exactly the same thing. The only difference is that for Yoshimitsu's 3-2-1+2, it has a little bit more pushback and it's a little bit more threatening. Even on day 1 on the share play, when I was doing Marizu 3-2-1, people were punishing it because it doesn't make this loud noise. It doesn't have this huge range. She's just right there in your face, ready to be punished. So there is some scenarios where you have other characters doing something like her, but then she's in more at risk. She's more in danger. What I really like about this character as well is the down 3 that we talked about. I like how spammable it is, but spammable in a good sense. Like it's a good, well, I don't know what the pros are going to say, right? But for me, I feel like it's a really good low poke to get the players to open up a little bit. Down 3, and then you got while standing 3, which is that big kick. It forces crouch on hit. On block is +4. That +4 on block is kind of crazy. But then it's also a counter hit launcher. That move, you have to kind of condition them a little bit. It's not going to be something that you could just use willy-nilly because they could really get up in there and interrupt. Interrupting her is a lot of the game plan. That's what I'm realizing so far. But also interrupting her is putting the pressure on the opponent to do something, right? And this is something that people kind of dislike about Tekken 8 is that like you are kind of forced to have knowledge to like counter these characters. But even in that sense of like, you trying to press against an Eddie versus a Marizu, I feel like Marizu is way safer to press against. One, I feel like her damage isn't that high. Once again, her numbers is on par with Yoshimitsu. I think I seen everyone in the chat saying that the most they could get was like a 73 damage combo. Now, once again, we'll see what the pros are capable of and how the combo meta shifts. But when you just talk about like what you're risking when pressing her, it's not like egregious. That's the biggest thing that I'm trying to stress is like this character doesn't seem like this huge oppressive monster and you're just gonna die anytime you do anything, right? It seems like she is taking reasonable guesses. Like for example, her up forward 1, it does 50 damage. That's kind of crazy. But also that move is minus 17 launch punishable. Never let her get away with it. Even though it kind of does look like a down forward 2, you do got to understand that she's using a different arm. Down forward 2 is the 2 arm, and then down up forward 1 is the 1 arm. Once you see it a little bit, you understand the body is twisting differently and you can launch punish it, right? Down forward 2 safe, right? But it's like I just love that the character isn't super oppressive, because that's the most boring thing about a character when everything just works. When I'm doing some like shenanigans and I'm getting dicey, I'm jumping around or I'm doing low pokes, I'm trying to force you to crouch and I'm trying to hit you with up forward 1. When I start to make these things happen and when these things start to click, it's so satisfying because this is me imposing my will upon you, not through overpowered gameplay, but through conditioning, through, you know, a proper understanding of my character. And this is why I kind of feel that Marizu is like a good character, bro. I know a lot of people are going to say that she looks terrible. You know, the polls is, you know, I was saying it, right? But actually getting my hands on the character, I think she is super fun to play. I'm going to continue playing her, and I can't wait to see like what the pros are capable of. But also too, I hope they don't just turn into like crybabies, right? Because, and this is the thing too that I was talking about before the character came out, is like with Yoshimitsu and some of the other characters, a lot of people will play a very like slimy character, but then they will hate another character for being slimy as well. And I hope Marizu doesn't fall victim to that. Like I said, you're going to have to challenge her in a lot of ways to keep her off of that pole and to keep her in check. But that's kind of how each character should be, right? Like if you want Kazuya to stop doing hell sweeps, you're going to have to, you know, press a button, but then you're also going to have to watch out for some of the other things he could do from that same situation, right? 444 and stuff like that, right? One thing I will say about this as well, her pole, how you could press 3+4 and go right into the pole and then do a hell sweep, that is so effective. But then also while you're on the pole and you could start jumping forward, or you could jump to the side, 3+4 to the side, 3+4 to the right. If you're in heat, you will also land on the pole and you could start jumping forward. That jumping forward animation, a lot of people was wondering whether or not it can work in a real game, and I think it can. Once again, if you condition your opponent and if you set it up properly, I think it could work. The comparison that I want to draw is with Yoshimitsu's Kincha. Yoshimitsu 1+2, he goes into Kincha and you can start holding forward and Yoshimitsu will start dashing at you. And that dash is very similar to Marizu's pole up forward, you know, dash as well. The only difference is Yoshimitsu, if you hit him, he's considered standing and you can do a real combo on him, or you could do something really on him, right? Marizu, she's airborne, so you're going to get an airborne combo, reduced damage, and I don't think that's necessarily cheap. It's just a different scenario, right? It's not supposed to be exactly like Yoshi or exactly like this character. It's cool that she's kind of similar to a lot of characters, right? The running 2-1 is really similar to Azazina, but it has its own thing where you could go into the stance. The 1-1-2 or 1+2, whatever it is, you could go into the stance, so it's kind of like Reina there, but once again, it's like kind of different when you get into her stances and whatnot. I love the callback to other characters. I thought that part I was gonna hate it, but playing more of the character, that kind of makes her feel natural, kind of makes her feel like something you played before, but also totally brand new at the same time. I'm really happy about this character. I ended the stream and I was like having the best like day like ever after a Tekken 8 session. We'll see what happens though when the servers come up. I don't want to gas her too much. This is just my first impressions after doing some share play matches, both with lag and without lag. That's it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one, and bye bye.